and welcome back to the channel, back to the vlog. So we have this 2024 Ford Explorer with B&O. So if you haven't worked on the new Fords, they're a little tough. These Explorers are pretty nice. They have really nice interiors, but there's the battery. After a little investigation, it's buried under here. So we got to take all this out just to do an amp and sub. So we're going to put this powered 10-inch sub box here, high level in, it's got RCA in. We're going to do a bass knob on it, and then we're going to do 4 gauge. So we got to pull this entire car apart, and I don't know how to do it yet. There's obviously not much I could tell you about it, because this car does have the B&O amp in the back here. So we're gonna gain access to this back area, and then the sub's gonna wind up back here. So we'll pull this apart and we'll figure it out, and we'll take you along the ride, because like I said, I don't even know where I'm running the power wire yet. I'm gonna pull out that top cowling, because from what I can see, and you can see here, these little connectors come off. At least there's 2 sections here. There's 2 separate pieces. So this piece come out just to gain access to the battery. So I'm hoping that I don't have to pull the windshield wiper blade off. I'm hoping I pull out the rest of the remaining tabs and pull this apart and show you how I run the wire. But I'm gonna have to take this apart just to know, pull all those tabs out and work from there. So I'll take you through super YouTube fast mode, and we'll pull it apart and go from there. So we're gonna try and go through the factory grommet, which is right up in that area there, and bring that wire through. But you could see we pulled apart, or at least have this apart, and then you could see, I don't know if you can see it, but there's an actual opening here. We just have that propped up by the plastic piece. So we'll put a zip tie on it with a 4 gauge wire and pull it through. Shouldn't be too complicated from that standpoint. I'm hoping that we can use that grommet. Now we could also drill a grommet hole in there, but it'd be tough to fish it through. So I'm gonna look and see which makes more sense in the long run. If I have to drill it, I'll put a grommet in there and run it up. But if I can go through that factory grommet without doing any damage, we're gonna do that. But that's how you get, so literally from the battery, through that grommet, then down here, and hopefully we'd start taking apart that back end in a minute. Stay tuned. So I was able to pull this grommet out, and I'll push it back in and then fish it in from the inside and run the wire through the factory grommet. So there's a cutout here already. That way you don't have to make a decision. You just literally have to cut this out, modify this, fish it through. It's a little work, but you know, I disconnected the battery. I unplugged all the plugs that had the play in here. So now, as you can see, the plugs are here. And now all I gotta do is fish that back into position, and then put it back together and plug everything back in, and then I can continue running the power wire. But yeah, it's on the passenger side, factory grommet. There's a hole there for a spot already, and made it nice and easy. A little bit of work, but disconnect the battery. So a little bit of work, a little bit of sweat, we pulled that grommet out, pushed it back in, ran the wire through it. Now we're gonna move on to the center console. So we're gonna put a bass knob in here somewhere. My thought process was to put it here, but if you put a bass knob here, you're not gonna be able to open this completely. So we're gonna wind up putting it in the console, because over there didn't make any sense, and putting a hole makes no sense. So we're gonna take this console apart, which means I'm gonna take this side apart and that side apart, pull the screws out, pull the console out, and then I'm probably gonna put the bass knob somewhere in here so we can easily get to it, like on the corner or something like that, you know, and it will still close. But I need to get back to it, pull that out, and we'll work from there. So as you can see, I elected to pull the entire console out, and there's a plug here on the left side and on the driver's side, and 2 plugs on the passenger side, but there's also plugs back here to pull that console out. So everything's pulled apart, and I'm glad I took it apart, because if I'd have blindly drilled into there, there's a module right here, which if you look over here, there's the actual transmission plug, but it's a pretty big module. So we're just going to drill a small hole in there and mount it inside that console, and then put it all back together and run the wire. It takes some time to do sometimes, but we're going to run that wire along the console back down and on the same side as this side here. So everything's going to go this way, because I believe, from what everything tells me data wise, the amp's in the back rear right corner panel. So we're going to pull this panel off so we can run the wires. The console's back together, and I'll show you an image of that once we get to that point. But I ran all the wires, put the base knob in, and reassembled this just the way I took it apart. So this is going to come apart, and then we're going to run wires under here, and let's get to it. So we pull that panel apart. We ran all the wires down the channeling down here, mounted it here, and it's going to come out down here somewhere. So we're going to pull the panel apart, and we were going to put it all back together, because the sub out amplifier that's output is not there. It's on the other side of the vehicle. So what we're going to do is put this side back together, and then take that side apart and grab the signal for that. So we're gonna have to put all this back together, well, at least this part anyway, and then take that apart. It basically comes apart the same way. This panel, actually, this is actually a screw here, so this unscrews. These are screws there, just like on the other side. So we'll do one side, then we'll put it back together. We already did one side, put this one back together, and then we'll take that apart and then get the signal for the sub out of there, and then we should be good to go. But this is a pain. This is actually a pretty tough car to work on, just add a sub, especially with the factory set up the way it is. So stay tuned. I'll get the rest, take that apart on video, and then I will continue on. So we pulled apart the rear back panel on the left side, and here's the subwoofer connections right here. So we're going to run that wire down here, secure it somehow, and then come back up here, and then try to meet up over there. So taking apart the panel is not that big of a deal. It's the same as the passenger side. So we'll get some footage of the assembly, of the reinstallation, and go from there. Ooh, fun. So we wind up putting the box up here. It would fit down here, but it just rattled way too much with the stuff in there. So I wind up putting the box here. We still got to wrap up the kick panels, but everything's ran. This amp works and turns on with DC offset. And then we wind up putting the fuse holder right in there like that. And this car's a wrap, and I'll try to play something that bumps so you can kind of hear it. But turned out really nice. The car's ready to go. Just got to clean up a few things and put it back together, and boom, play some bass. So I'll play some non-copyright music. See how the bass goes. Big hits for a single 10. Odyssey and Annie are really banging. Stay tuned for the next video.